John was working in his science lab, got blasted by gamma rays. Now he's Smash Trivia John, always smashing. He's friends with Ruffalo, in love with Aslan, and also some arrow weaving. John's here saying, hello my gamma friends, welcome to the show, the Gamma Analysis Podcast.
And hold. Smash.
Hello, my Gamma friends. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Smash Trivia John. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram by searching Smash Trivia. I'll be the one with the big old green hen profile picture. This is the Gamma Analysis. Basically, I'm going to review everything Hulk, all the movies, TV shows, and also do randomly geeky films. Hope you enjoy. Smash Trivia presents the Gamma Analysis. I want to ask everyone listening, please do something for me. Please share the hell out of this podcast with all your friends. If you don't, Hulk will be angry. Now let's smash right into this episode. Today's episode, I'm reading and reacting to the script for a canceled Jack Black starring Green Lantern film, kind of in honor of the Lantern series coming out, with my friend Bubb from the Anyone's Comic Book Podcast. How you doing, Bubb?
Man, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me here today, man.
Yeah, I'm glad you wanted to come on for this. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun to read this script out.
No, absolutely. I mean, you told me Jack Black, and I was
Yeah.
quite honestly perplexed.
Yeah. So I found out about this script just like a few months ago. And I was like, and like instantly I was like, this is one I want to read on my podcast because I think this will be funny. Oh. Like before we get into it, one thing I'm curious about, since you are a really big into actually reading the comics, like have you read these comics that this was inspired by, Green Lantern, Emerald Dawn 1 and 2?
No, I tend to so I've gone to the pre-Flashpoint stuff on especially the Flash and bigger events. But I haven't really gotten there with Green Lantern. Most of my Green Lantern reading has been in the Rebirth era with like Jessica Cruz and Simon Baz.
I'm sure.
Hal Jordan's cool, but like Jon Stewart's my favorite from the pre-Flashpoint era, and like Kyle Rayner. I honestly, Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan, I'm just not into very much at all.
Understandable. Understandable. With this script, it's interesting to me. It says it's inspired by that because as what I've read about the script without actually reading the script from other places, it says that it's not actually any of the Lanterns we know. It is an original character played by Jack Black,
Which is probably
so
for
that
the
would be
best.
interesting. Yeah.
I mean,
This
none
was.
oh, sorry.
No, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, this came out in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't think because Jack Black basically plays the same character every single time, right?
Kind of.
And I don't think that really matches any of the
Yeah.
Lantern's personalities.
Oh yeah. But that being said, I love Jack Black, even as he is playing the same character each time. So I think it'll be fun, the idea of him as a Green Lantern.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this script was wrote by Robert Schmiegel. Sorry, Robert, if somehow you see this, I may have mispronounced your last name, but let's get started on this. I'll read this first page, and then you read the next, and we'll go back and forth.
Sounds good.
Exterior space night. The vista is spectacular, but a bit wobbly. Sci-fi intricately designed opening credits run over shots from space. Abin Sur or voiceover. Or order was established at the dawn of creation. It is the structure of social organization. Interior apartment day. A cat is working a litter box. The whole thing upends, sending the cat tumbling. No credits run during the Earth scenes. Cut to a wide shot of the apartment. Judd Plato, a somewhat slovenly fellow in his early 30s, I believe this is who Jack Black was going to play.
Okay.
Has tripped over the litter box. He's probably hungover. The overturned box hasn't made the place that much worse. From the floor, Judd looks over at the cat. Judd says, "That wasn't there. Why did you move it?" Exterior space later. Or we shoot through stars and planets, but the ride is treacherous and shaky. Credits continue. Abin Sur's voiceover continues saying, "Creation's growth was guided by random elements which were themselves the workings of a perfect order." Interior furniture store day. A row of very similar generic looking all units in a IKEA like department store are cut to.
So far, this is kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie, because like you said, this is an original Green Lantern. Why?
I
Why is
believe
Abin Sur
so.
here?
Well, well, at least okay. At least Jack Black is playing an original person, and I don't. There's probably some other Green Lanterns that appear that are from the comics. I'm
No,
guessing they put them in there to make it so people who are comic fans don't get too angry that it's all just original stuff.
that's fair. But I'm just thinking chronology because well,
Mm-hmm.
there's two flip sides to this. I did look up this comic, and it's a retelling of Hal Jordan's origin stories.
Okay.
I do definitely want to read it. Just because I'm curious. Um, but um, the Abin Sur crash landed and died, and gave Hal Jordan his ring when he
Mm-hmm.
died, making Hal Earth's first Green Lantern. So if Hal is or if Abin Sur is there,
I'm guessing that that Judd is based on Hal Jordan,
that's my
but
guess.
because
Yeah,
they were making it because you're making it so different from the comics, it's making this as a comedy. They're like, let's make it say it's an original character just to get the comic fans off our backs.
that's fair. Oh, and this was before Green Lantern's like movie debut.
Yeah,
Holy hell.
this was a few years before, or um, and from what I have heard about this, this was supposed to be a part of a art of a universe that was also going to have a Flash film, which that Flash film was actually kind of what got Ryan Reynolds the job as Green Lantern because if I remember he was going to be the star of that Flash film.
Would he have been Barry or Wally?
I think it was Wally.
Oh, fuck. I wish this actually happened. I, I don't know if you know this about me. I'm a diehard fucking Wally West fan. My God. He has not been live action except, well, there's the Wallace West version, which is the second one that was introduced during New 52. That's neither here nor there. But we have not actually had my favorite comic character of all time in live action. We had him in like Young Justice and technically in Teen Titans for an episode. But that's
Well,
it.
he is in the Arrowverse, though. I'm pretty sure he's very different from the comic version.
That's the New 52 Wally West.
Hmm.
So there's actually two Wally Wests currently in the comics because they actually erased Wally entirely from continuity when New 52 started, and they introduced a new one. Then they brought back the old one, and both of them coexist. So it is a distinct character,
Mhm.
but it's bizarre. Comic books can be friggin' weird
Yeah.
sometimes.
Shit.
Um, anyway, should I go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for reading this second page.
Sweet. So Judd at work dressed in a jumpsuit, wheeling a large bin filled with stacked chairs. A female customer throws her chewing gum in it as Judd walks by. It's not a trash bin. The customer has already walked by. Judd continues resigned. Judd's friend Seth, just frail and soft enough to find Judd cool, approaches him with an affected tone. Hey, you're that guy from that show. You are such a dude.
This is so 2000s. It really is so 2000.
How much influence did Jack Black have on this script to just like wank him the entire time it's happening? So Judd waves him off, surreptitiously gesturing over there. Over there, the row wall units. Uh, a middle-aged woman customer is discussing them animatedly with Corinne, the beautiful floor manager. Judd and Seth are hidden from their sight. Judd says to Seth quietly, "Such a dude." Seth is embarrassed. Exterior space later. Uh, Credits continue from infinite space, widened a bit to reveal it is viewed through the window of a spaceship, widened more to reveal a gloved hand feebly operating the control panel. I've been served voiceover. Uh, Creation gave rise to sentient life forms whose sense of logic and reason were flawed. Interior furniture store later. Corinne is chatting with her interested woman customer, indicating the incrementally different wall units.
I think I think one interesting aspect of this that I wonder if might be part of why this got canceled is it feels like we have two very clashing tones.
Yeah.
Like we have partially it's very typical 2000s comedy, and then we have the space stuff which is completely serious. It is being done completely seriously.
No, absolutely. It just feels choppy.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of entertaining to read through, but I think that if I paid
Mhm.
for a movie ticket for it, I probably would have been pissed by now.
Corey's, it says the Excelsior or has a 14-inch depth. You can and store your larger books, your wedding albums. They're distracted by Seth approaching Judd, still wheeling his bin. Seth says, "As hey, you're the guy from I'm from the show. Oh, you are hot. You kick ass on that show." Judd says, thanks, man. It's on tonight at 8. I quietly, I'm hot? Have you ever heard a real person speak? Etc. Paris Hilt. She's not the only. It doesn't just mean hot.
Oh God.
John louder again says, anyway, thanks, man. Gotta get back. I enjoyed the show I'm on. Downplay Jacorian. And hi, just some guy who's seen me on TV. I'm on every week. Corian says, "You're on a show, Judd." Judd says, "Yeah, it's no big deal. I'm one of the main people." One of the customers says, "Which is this one?" Judd getting cockier. Oh, it's the one on the American and Now network, channel 124. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be digging it. It's Corey. It says the Continental, 13-inch depth.
I forgot Paris Hilton existed. I remember when this happened. That was a timely pop culture reference for the time that
Oh
this script
yeah.
was made. Holy shit.
Yep.
Okay. So woman customer, I'll take that. Corinne to Judd. Continental. Judge sheepishly resumes his job, walking over to the stack of boxed wall units, dragging out a Continental. Woman customer, not that one. The box is open. She throws her gum into Judd's bin. Judd sighs. Exterior space later. The vista starts to wobble more than ever through the spaceship's window as the credits continue. Abin Sur. Once the reliable life forms became capable of interfering with the development of other beings, there came a great disturbance to the universe's sense of order. Exterior bar, night. Pan a generic looking downtown area of Atlanta, landing at the Fridays style bar. We hear some screams, some cheers coming from inside. Interior bar. A scattered crowd is watching something on the TV screen. Pan faces, anxious and excited overweight woman, Hispanic couple, rowdy red-faced sports guys, a cheering man with son, stumpy girl in football jersey. Abin Sur. Thus was the need for an intergalactic order keepers recognized and the Green Lantern Corps formed. Exterior spaceship continuous. The long silver spaceship wobbles as it streaks through the atmosphere. Credits continue.
Abin Sur says, it must be one who's entirely without. Wait, no,
Oh,
I
you
skipped a
skipped a page.
page. Yeah. Oh, the Abin Sur voiceover. The corpse is the root of all order and knowledge. The ship breaks into Earth's atmosphere and hustles towards Earth. Earth, Abin Sur, voiceover. The corpse is without fear, without anger, without corruption. The corpse is it has battled against the forces of chaos for a millennium. To serve is the ultimate honor. Exterior, empty desert canyon and continuous. The ship crashes headfirst into the desert. End credits. Its interior or spaceship moments later. For the first time, we see Abin Sur, the Green Lantern of Space Sector 2814, or his bald head and face are deeply red. Otherwise, he is humanoid. He sits weakly at his chair by a control panel. His Green Lantern costume tattered and torn, the holes revealing a bit of his red skin underneath. He is dying. His green ring on his right hand illuminates as it touches the Green Lantern. Touches the Green Lantern like a battery of power, or a streak of green light emanates from the a ring and shoots out. Exterior desert are continuous. It's the streak of light. It shoots and extends beyond the desert horizon. Abin Sur says, as if there be a deserving one here, a ring will find my successor. Exterior battlefield moments later. In a war-torn Middle Eastern country, a brave soldier carries his fallen buddy and takes out a guerrilla fighter. The green light hovers over the scene.
Oh, okay. Abin Sur. It must be one who is entirely without fear. Exterior mountain peak. Moments later, a legless climber makes his way up a snowy, steep mountain amidst a blizzard, pulling himself up with only his arms. The green light hovers over the scene. One whose fearlessness is matched only by integrity and character. Exterior African village. Moments later, a small and older missionary woman is negotiating through landmines and fighting off African wild dogs to deliver medicine to a pregnant African woman. The green light hovers over the scene. For the responsibility of those in the Corps transcends moral bounds. Interior TV studio. Moments later. As a row of attractive contestants watch, we see Judd, also a contestant, voraciously wolf down the severed head of a coyote, fur, bones, eyes, teeth, and all. Host, voiceover. This man is incredible. He's eating the nose. He's going at that coyote's brain like it was candy. Judd Plato does not know fear. Interior bar continuous. Everyone in the half-filled bar is going wild. They're watching Judd eat the coyote head on the TV. In the back of the room, noticed by no one, the streak of the green light is watching and pulsating, clearly impressed. Host voiceover. Have you ever seen bravery like this? Judd Plato.
What the fuck?
I
That is
guess Fear Factor was popular
insane.
back then.
Would Fear Factor even go for something that crazy?
No, no, but I clearly that's like what they're
Hmm.
playing off of.
I
Like,
guess that's wild.
what the fuck?
Hmm.
Also, like, just the exaggerated situations, because like we have the war on terror, and then we have a legless climber on
Hmm.
a snowy steep mountain, and then just the like pure I don't even know how to describe what I'm thinking for the African thing because it just seems like it's somewhere between tropey and trying too hard to be sympathetic, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah, it's not great. Oh, but I can see what they're trying to do though. They're trying to to show different brave people. I don't think it really works. Like them say that that he's braver than all of them because he ate a coyote's head.
Especially when integrity is part of the thing. Like, the fuck
Yeah,
does that have to do with integrity?
like John stands among the crowd, a beer in hand. Someone hands him another beer. A local reporter with a notepad is watching alongside him. Judd points to himself eating the coyote head on screen. Judd says, "That's what I'm talking about. No hesitation, full eye contact." Sports guy says, "Judd, that's a coyote for real?" Judd says, "This isn't some David Copperfield shit, Zeke. Everything is real on that show, except the boobly zooblies." A few guys laugh. The green light pulsates more. A reporter says, "Could you spell that for me?" Judd suddenly feels himself being pulled backwards. Says, "I gotta go." The reporter says, "But the show's not over." Cut to TV screen. Judd is gnawing on the coyote's hind legs and tail. The host says, "Look at Judd go for that rear end. He's already proven his bravery." Cut to interior bar continuous. Judd is retreating out of the bar, though he doesn't quite know why. His only friend in the joint, Seth, calls after him. He's at a table of tubby girls in makeup. Seth says, "Where are you going, Judd? You got a whole table here waiting for you."
So I think you have a point about the two different stories happening being an issue with
Mm-hmm.
this. Um, I also think it might have something to do with him eating coyote ass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is I don't think most audiences would accept that, even with it being expected to be an R-rated film. People would be weirded out by that.
Yeah, no, I don't. This feels like Madam Web level, in all honesty.
Oh man.
I'd probably laugh more at this, though, to be fair. Um, all right. So a father says, "Hey, my kid wanted an autograph." Judd said, "Can't right now." Father said, "Way to set an example, dick." Judd hurries out of the bar confused. Exterior bar moments later. The ray of green light is pulling Judd toward his car in the parking lot. Okay, what? What is this green thing? Eben, sir. The core is the creation of the guardians of the universe, and Judd hears this. The light pushes him into his car and guides his hand towards the ignition key. Who's that? Evan, sir, the Guardians are the highest evolved minds in the universe. Judd peels out of the control of the green light. Whoa, slow down, Green. Oh, Judd says, "Whoa, slow down, Green. Who's doing this?" Evan, sir, power without reason is. Garage attendant, hey, $10. The ray of green light momentarily slows the car down, forms a human hand at the end of its ray, and tosses a green glowing 10 at the attendant. Garage attendant, okay, thanks.
Sir voiceover, you're welcome. The car continues peeling out, driving rapidly down the highway under the green light's control as Sir continues. Power without reason is chaos. Force without knowledge is destructive. Judd simultaneously, shut up! No, you. Ooh, shut up! Shut up! My car! My car! My car! Judd defiantly turns on the radio. It blares out "What a Girl Wants" by Christina Aguilera. Judd is relieved to hear anything. Judd continues. Yes, my car. The radio signal fades and is replaced by static. Judd continues. No. Sir's voice appears on the radio. Oh. Without the corpse, there would only be chaos and darkness. Judd says, "No, no, Christina." Judd starts to cry as the car starts taking him at 100 miles an hour. Sir, the voiceover says, "The corpse is ultimate knowledge, harnessed to ultimate power." The judge says, "What do you want, voice?" Suddenly, the car takes off from the highway and soars into the sky, speeding over the country at 300 miles per hour. Judd continues, "Why don't want to die?"
All right. Judd stops for a moment, emotionally and physically spent, and looks down at the vista. Judd, okay, I like this, but I still need to know what the fuck? Chaos is rooted, order is maintained, the battery is the source. That was Abbotsor, my bad. Judd, I don't think you answered my question. The car is flying at 600 miles per hour. Judd is now struggling against the G forces. Sir, the core is the knowledge, the battery, the power. Judd, answer my question. I said, what? Suddenly, the car descends rapidly as the green light spirals towards the ground. Judd, the exterior desert. The car lands on the desert canyon right by Sir's crashed spaceship. Judd crawls out of the car. Judd, ow. Judd sees the spaceship and is too tired to completely freak out. Judd, what? What? Sir, wield the power. Maintain order.
Judd says, here we go. Okay, I'm gone. I have a bar full of admirers. I have a cat with a hyperthyroid. Judd turns to run away and is confronted by a giant 30-foot green projection of Sir's face. Sir says, "It is a great honor." Judd says, "Hi." Sir says, "A responsibility that transcends your mortal bonds." Judd says, "Okay." Judd pulls out his cell phone and hits a button. Interior bar continuous. Is Seth still near the table of impatient tubby girls? Answers his cell phone. Seth says, "Where the hell are you?" Intercut with exterior desert continuous. Is Judd, freaked out, talks with Seth while eyeing the giant green Sir. Judd says, "Just listen to me." Seth says, "Get back here, man. These girls are gonna leave, and two of them are totally passable." Judd says, "What did we take the other day?" Seth says, "What day?"
What the fuck? Okay. So Judd says, how much NyQuil did I take? Seth says, what? Not that much. Just fell asleep. Judd, can the shit have a delayed reaction? Seth, what are you squealing about? It was a week ago. Evan, sir, this is a great power greater than your finite mind can imagine. Judd, I gotta go. Judd hangs up. Seth is puzzled. Judd continued to Evan's head. Okay, I'm back. Evan, sir, this is about the survival of entire races, of worlds and cultures never dreamed of. The projected head suddenly disappears into infinity. Oh, hello? Head? After a pause, Judd starts to leave again, relieved. Okie doke. Well, he'll be missed. Suddenly, the green ray shoots under Judd, forming a green chair that slides under him. Hey, Judd says. The ray adds a seat and shoulder belt that strap around Judd. The ray sends the seat flying back towards the crashed spaceship and inside the door.
Interior spaceship. Moments later, Judd lands on the floor, or across the desk is Abin Sur, are still seated by the controls. The ray of green light forming Judd's chair, emanates it's from Abin's ring. Abin says, "As the ring and the battery are all you shall require. Be sober, be vigilant. You are one of us now." Judd says, "How's that?" Abensur says, "I am Abensur. I have served the Corps from Space Sector 2814. I am dying." Judd says, "Wow, that sucks." Abensur says, "You have been chosen to be my successor." Judd says, "No." Abensur says, "The ring has decided." Judd says, "Not happening." Abensur says, "Your wants are not my concern. The ring must be charged at the battery of power or at regular intervals. Call for it and it will appear." Judd says, "Wait a minute. That costs him. This is the green guy. Green Hornet?" Abensur says, "Green Lantern." Judd says, "Lantern, wait, you're saying I'm a Green Lantern? Stop it."
Green Hornet, really?
Yep.
And I did have to look it up because um, I wasn't sure when Green Hornet first appeared. It was 1936. Uh, Hal Jordan was after that, I'm certain. I'm curious. Oh, no, actually, Green Hornet predates even the first Green Lantern, which is funny because, like, uh, I had no idea he existed for a long time. Also, I just accidentally lost my page. What page are we
we're
on?
we're on page. It says 14 in the script, but if you're wanting to click to it, it'll be page 15.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Judd, that's mind blowing. This is like the eighth most famous superhero. Evan Zur, the Guardians have chosen you through the ring. The ring singled you out for your fearlessness and honesty. Judd, no. Are you talking about the Dare Diner? I don't even win. I finished third. I mean, that's a secret, but you're dying, so I don't think the network will. Evan Zur, the ring knows your potential to overcome fear. Judd, I can only eat that stuff because I have a dead spot on my tongue. I bit off a section when I was 5. I was at the carnival riding the teacups, and I already had a sugar buzz from the fried. Evan, sir, please do not bore me in my final minutes. Fear is for you an intellectual exercise. It is a method of self-preservation linked to your species' survival instinct. Judd's phone rings. Judd, sorry. You believe this thing works out here? Verizon. Okay, that was pretty good. Um, Evan doesn't react. Judd picks it up. Intercut with exterior bar. Seth is practically in tears standing on the parking lot area. He speaks on his cell phone via a wire earpiece.
Seth says, "You're an asshole. You blew the semi-pretty girls for me, and now I don't have a ride home." Judd says, "I'm a Green Lantern." Seth says, "We have a very tiny window here of getting sex while you're on TV. Maybe you're happy spanking it to Corrine, but you're what?" And Judd says, "I'm Green Lantern." And Seth says, "Shut up and pick me up." Judd says, "Seth, I swear on Corine's ass." As they pulled me out of the bar with this green light thingy, and now I'm in the desert with a dying guy right here who's making me the next Green Lantern. Seth says, "Cut the bullshit." Abbott is overhearing the conversation. Judd says, "No bullshit." Seth says, "You're a Green Lantern. Come on, that's like the ninth most important superhero. Put the guy on." Judd says, "What?" So Ed says, "Put the dying guy on. I don't believe you." Judd to Abin, and do you mind? He doesn't believe me.
This seems very meta for 2006.
Yeah.
Okay, so he hands Abin the phone. Abin Sur says, "I am Abin Sur." Seth says, "Okay, who is this? Cooper? How do I know this isn't a goof?" Abin Sur, "I haven't much time." Judd, "Say something sciency." Abin Sur, "The ring must be charged at the battery at the power source every once every one of your planetary revolutions." Seth, 24 hours. Everybody knows that. Judd, "Okay, Seth, I think you're pissing him off." To Abin, confiding, "Sorry, Seth's way into the superhero stuff." Covering phone, loser. Seth, "Come on, tell me something that I can't read in a comic book." The ring's green ray reaches into the cell phone. Exterior bar moments later, the green ray emerges from Seth's earpiece, forming a hand that bitch slaps Seth and then pulls him into the earpiece.
That's a good bit.
Interior spaceship moments later. Seth emerges and tumbles out of the cell phone. Seth, ah!
That's a great bit, actually, though.
Okay,
So this
what I
is
will say is that I think this would not work for a movie, but it'd be a fucking killer skit on Robot Chicken.
oh man. Oh, but I think this is. I think it's fun that fun this idea that superheroes are comics in this
Yeah,
world, and these are comic book nerds who are getting this power. I think
yeah,
that's really cool.
agreed.
So it says, "Ah." Abin Sir says, "Call for the battery, and it will appear." Jet says, "Sure, will do." Seth, stunned, terrified. "Sorry, I'm sorry." Judd says, "He's sorry. Okay, so how's this? Why don't we just forget this ever happened? I'm obviously not the guy, and you, Abin." Abin is silent. Judd continues, "You're liking this. You're mulling, letting it marinate." To Seth, he's ruminating. Seth says, "He's dying." That says, "I think I know when my man Abin is rude." Abin's body starts to decompose and form dust, and Judd immediately starts vomiting. And Judd continues, "Give me a second." And Seth as, "What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be brave. You ate a coyote." Judd says, "That's my dead spot on my tongue. I told him." As they argue, and Judd finishes, the green ray swirls around Abin's ring. The ring flies off Abin's hand and lands on Judd's right ring finger. Immediately, a Green Lantern suit materializes on Judd's body.
Hang on, I need to check something. Yeah, it's the middle finger usually.
Hmm.
I didn't want to say it on the podcast without like verifying it, obviously. But like, no, it's definitely the ring finger. Um, shit. Um, wait. Oh, all right. Um, Judd and Seth are stunned. Judd wipes the last of his puke off his mouth, and Seth looks at him uh, in the outfit. After another moment, Seth bursts out laughing. Judd is pissed. Seth, I'm sorry. Judd is still annoyed. Seth holds it together. Seth, seriously, you're going to be great. Exterior desert later. Judd stands at a cliff and looks at Seth. Judd, just go for it. Seth, just imagine it. That's how it works. Judd concentrates the ring's green ray lifts him off the ground, and he starts to fly, terrified. Judd, woo, no, put myself down. Seth, Judd, you have to stop being scared. You're in control. Judd, right? Superhero in control. Seth, it's cool. Flying is cool. Judd, flying is rad. Judd starts zipping around the sky, maneuvering the ring. Judd, I can make turns with this thing. Seth, yes, that's how it works, Judd. From a high spot, Judd dives and streaks towards Seth, wearing a confused face. Also, 100%, if any of my friends ever became superheroes, I would be absolutely trolling them the entire time. And, like, no hesitation. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Judd says, "Wait, what's happening? What's happening? What?" Seth says, "Whoa." At the last second, just as their face is about to collide, Judd turns a hard right as Seth recoils. Uh-oh. Judd says, Seth says, "Asshole." Judd produces a giant fist that goes right up to Seth's face. Is Seth is annoyed. Judd taunting. You want some of this? You want some of this? What do you call me? Seth says, "Mr. Asshole." Judd says, "That's better." Seth says, "Come on. Every Green Lantern does the big fist. You can conjure up anything with that ring." Judd beg pardon. Judd's ring produces a sword, which he swings wildly. Judd continues, "Care to duel, my asthmatic friend?" And Seth says, "That's great, Judd. The sheriff of Nottingham's gonna be terrified." Judd transforms the green light into nunchucks, which he waves around with the skill of a novice air guitarist.
Japanese
Oh,
gibberish.
God.
Otaya, Ota Yanomaya Skana. Moya-san. Okay, I see why this did not air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seth, yes, you're an idiot. Okay, those all right. But let's try and stretch it now. Go for something a bit more complex. Judd, what's that mean? Seth, try and make something you can get all the details right on, something you're intimately familiar with. Judd concentrates. After a bit, he extends his ring and produces a green ray. It forms a green recreation of the teenage Britney Spears sitting in a short skirt in her first album cover. Seth, really? Judd, was kind of stuck in my head for a year. Seth, I'd keep that to myself. Exterior sky, crack of dawn. Judd is flying over a huge lake. On his way home, his ring has created a green tow that pulls his car. With Seth in it, the lantern or battery power which charges the ring is in the back seat. Judd improvising a theme song. Green Lantern. He's the Green Lantern. He's a lantern that's green. He makes things that. Seth, are we home yet? Well, oh my God.
Yep.
I think I would be getting secondhand cringe this entire time. Well, maybe not back in 2006. I would have been like middle school at that point. But
Hmm.
wait, how old are
Oh,
you?
God. I am 24.
Okay.
This,
So you weren't making memories at this point. No, damn it. Okay.
oh my God, this is wild.
I feel old.
I don't love the teenage Britney Spears joke.
No.
Judd, annoyed, says, "Dude, you're bored?" Tess says, "No, I'm just tired. I had 3 beers." Judge says, "Don't owe me that. I'm a superhero. You're not buzzed." Look at this. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Seth. People rent it, but you're living it. Seth says, "Stop. I gotta take a piss." Judd stops the car as Seth stumbles out. With his ring, Judd creates a green path of grass off the highway for Judd to walk and piss on. Judd is irritated as the midair piss takes forever. Judd says, "Let's make it happen." Interior Judd's apartment, morning. Seth is just waking up on Judd's couch. Seth says, "Oh man, what time is it?" Judd is gargling mouthwash on his way out the door. He's in full Green Lantern costume. Seth continues, "Thanks for letting me crash. What are you doing?" Seth jumps off the couch to stop Judd. Judd says, "Headed for work, Tonto. Gotta show Corrine, and she's Corrine, who's the boss now?" Singing the Eagles tune. Uh, there's a new Judd in town. Everybody's talking about the new. Concerned. Do I have a boner? God.
All right. Jesus fucking Christ. Um, Seth, Judd, can't let people know you're the Green Lantern. Judd is blank. Judd, what's the point then? Seth, to fight crime. Judd sighs. Seth, and if criminals know your identity, then you'll never have any downtime. They'll always be after you. Haven't you ever read a Green Lantern book? Judd, no. Look, I gotta get something out of this. You're saying I have to fight crime and I can't redeem it for quality poon. Where's the justice in that? Seth, Judd, if Corinne knows your identity, she could become a target of your enemies, and you can't trust Corinne to keep a secret. Judd, I'm trusting you. Seth, yeah, but Judd, I'm your best friend, and even I've thought about blackmailing you with this. Judd, I get it. Shit. Seth, hey, come on. You're still Judd Plato, Mr. Fourth Round on the Dare Diner. Maybe she saw the show. Oh, I hate this so much.
Oh my God. Interior furniture store day. John is riding with his bin, and now filled with identical generic lamps up the escalator. Korean a voiceover says, "Judd, can you come in here?" Judd's eyes react as his heart races. He hurries up the escalator, leaving the bin of lamps to follow. Interior office day. A Judd is in Corrine's office. Is looking under a radiator. Judd says, "Looks like a mousetrap, Miss Kelly." Corrine says, "Oh no." Judd says, "We can get the exterminator in here, uh, uh, here real quick." not mousetrap, mouse crap. Those are similar sounding but very different. And Corey, I just can't be in a room with mice. Judd says, "No problem, Miss Kelly. I will contact him. The mice are probably behind the wall." Corey says, "I can't be here, knowing what mice might be here as well." Judd says, "Let me see what I can do." Corey says, "Please, and if you could, I can't be in a room with their feces." Judd says, "Right." Corey leaves the room.
Also, each page represents probably like a couple minutes of
I
a
think it's
movie.
supposed to be a minute, usually.
So you're telling me this is 23 minutes?
Like sometimes, but I don't know. I've heard that is the rule of thumb, but it's not always that way. So sometimes it's less than a minute. But this would have been this does seem like it would have been a long film. So
No, it does, but also like this is ridiculously fast pace. Like,
yeah,
especially considering pre 2011, how many people actually would have known? Like, I'm saying general populace because, like, I know that like you're more in comic circles. I'm obviously
yeah.
read a good amount of comics. How many people would have known Green Lantern's origin or how any of that
Well,
shit works?
to be honest, I this doesn't feel like they were looking for comic fans. This feels like they were looking for people who liked like Jack Black's 2000s comedies.
That's fair. No, I
Is
and I'm
which it's that's definitely which I don't think they would care whether it's Green Lantern or not. They'd just be like, oh, it's another or Jack Black comedy.
but the
I
pacing
do
for
think that it's. I do think fact, like, even though I love the idea of more R-rated comedy superhero films. I feel like the early 2000s, this probably would not have been super popular.
no, and also like my larger point though is the pacing. At this point, the average moviegoer is sitting there going, "What the fuck is going on?" You know what I mean? Like, um, that this is so fast.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Anyway, Judd, well played. He starts cleaning the mouse crap and mocks Seth in an exaggerated nerd voice. Judd, you can't let her know you're a superhero because if you do, I'm a fucking. uh, if criminals know who you are, you'll never have any. I'm a dipshit. She has to think you're a dipshit too, or the universe will, devolving into nerd gibberish. Neat, neat, Norple. Judd stops for a second, then pulls the Green Lantern ring out of his pocket. Judd, she doesn't have to think I'm a loser. Judd puts the ring on his finger cautiously. He starts pointing it toward the mouse crab. Ring emanates green light on the floor and lifts the mouse crab off the floor. Judd waves the ring under the radiator, and all the remaining mouse crabs lifted off the floor and held together in a small hovering ball. With the ring, Judd shoots the crab into the trash bin. Judd, nice. Judd looks back at the radiator and points his ring again. The ring's light produces 10 green cats. Judd, let's make it happen. Green cats immediately run towards the wall looking for mice as Judd takes a seat opposite Corinne's desk and relaxes a bit. Checking out some of the photos of Corinne and her friends on the bulletin board, a green cat jumps up towards Judd holding a mouse and breaks Judd's focus. The green
Hey,
cats continue looking for mice. Judd produces one more fat green cat with his ring just to sit in his lap while the others do their work.
if one of them caused him to lose focus, wouldn't that make that all of the green cats would disappear?
Yes. Well, they've abandoned so much of how Green Lantern actually works.
Yeah.
Like,
You
at
know,
this point, I'm wondering why it was called Green Lantern and not just like a parody
yeah,
movie in and of itself.
yeah. You know, To be fair though to these writers, um, this was a first draft, so
Fair.
this would not have been the final film. So the final film probably would have been better than this. You'd hope.
Damn, I wish I'd known to read the comic it's based off of, so I could.
Mm, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Uh,
dang. That's okay.
it's a uh,
No, it's totally fine. I was just like, dang, I wonder what stuff they're pulling. Like, because
I highly doubt most of the stuff is in that comic.
no, guaranteed.
Like that would be crazy if it was. John
Like,
continues. Uh,
oh,
what are you gonna say?
no, I was just gonna say, like, obviously, like you have the love interest, Corinne Carol Ferris, you have Hal Jordan, Judd, but like that's basically it.
John continues. Yes, faster. I'm not seeing my ice. The green cats continue in faster motion, dropping a few more mice to Judd on his feet until they are done. At which point they sit in an orderly fashion around Judd, who produces 10 and green Judd squeak toys. The cats play in ecstasy as Judd points his ring towards the radiator cover, lifting it off the ground, revealing several holes in the wall. Judd continues to the fat green cat on his lap. Okay, number 12, it's only fair. With his ring, he converts Earth's fat green cat's body so it can stand on its hind legs and operate with its paws. Another ring zap, and the fat green cat is wearing overalls and a painter's hat. It rapidly starts to plaster the holes in the wall. Just adjust the overalls all's pants so that the fat green cat's ass peeks out as it bends over. Okay, so they were doing some bestiality. That's interesting.
Yeah, this is the
Judge
decision.
Judge continues, pointing giggly at the other green cats. Check it out. The a fat green cat continues and finishes up as the other green cats meow and giggle with Judd. Judd continues, talk about out your tender riddle. The cats meow and giggle more. Or the fat green cat turns around like, what's with the laughing? And Judd continues, nothing. You're doing great. The fat green cat resumes to more or meow such giggling. Suddenly, the doorknob turns. Dorian is coming in, and Judd immediately shoots a green ray at the doorknob with a hand and at the end of it that holds the door closed. Dorian knocking, hello? As this happens, Judge makes all the green cats disappear back into the ring, rushes to the radiator where he appears to be replacing the once hovering cover.
Judd stops momentarily and points the ring towards his crotch. He then retracts the green hand, letting Corinne come in. Corinne, wow, you're done? Judd stands up and coolly turns to Corinne, revealing his over-enhanced crotch. Judd, not a big deal. Some spackling, cleaning. You won't have to worry about any mice now, that's for sure. Corinne, you are amazing. Judd nods with very transparent false modesty. Corinne, unflirtatious. This is so great. We don't have to use an exterminator anymore. Judd, I guess not. Corinne, corporate will really notice it in the budget. Thank you so much. Interior furniture store moments later. Music, unbearably chipper, like Herb Alpert's Tijuana Taxi. Judd glumly walks out. His bin of lamps is off in its track, and now blocking the escalator. He hurriedly pulls it away. Interior Judd's car later. Chipper music continues as Judd morosely pulls over to pick Seth up from work. Seth runs out of the Best Buy type store to get in his car, pulling his clip-on tie. Seth, so did she see the show? Judd bitterly peels out, saying nothing.
Interior highway later, or there's a lot of traffic. Chipper music continues as Judd steams in his car. He has not said a word to Seth. As Judd then says, "Oh, here we go." He sees the two cars have spun into the left wall, causing all the backed up traffic. Judd is disgusted. Judd continues to the cars. Eyes. Thanks for nothing. A few cars behind him honk loudly. Judd continues angrily mocking. Honk. Seth stares at Judd. Judd continues. What? The cars creep to a apparent halt. Judd gets out of the car. Enough's enough. Seth gets out. Reacts to something in shock. Chip music. Stops. Seth says, "Judd, up ahead." Seth says, "Oh Lord." There's a perfect circular hole in the highway. Several cars have fallen halfway through it. And many other cars have collided. The damage is blocking everything. Seth says, "Judd." Judd says, "What?" Seth says, "This is it." This is, "What are you talking about?"
Seth, you, Judd, I'm gonna die? Seth, Judd, the ring. Up ahead, some armed looters are already raiding cars. Frightened onlookers back away. Judd, oh shit, right, the Green Lantern. Seth, you're the Green Lantern. Judd, with the ring. Judd takes it out of his pocket. Seth says, not here. Go somewhere. Judd says, right, go somewhere. Seth says, go. Judd slowly, then more hurriedly, maneuvers towards the side of the highway. Judd, excuse me? Sorry. Very sorry. Excuse me. I have something there. Gotta use this. Nature calls. Sorry. Judd then ducks into the bushes on his side. He puts on the ring and concentrates. From his feet up, the clothes start to transform into the Green Lantern costume. Panic, he grabs his wallet and cell phone just before the transformation hits them. And change continues upward until he is fully the Green Lantern.
Judd continues, is impressed. Damn! He hurriedly tucks his wallet and phone into his costume, but no pockets. Points the ring at his waistline. Ray shoots out pockets. He's ready and takes off. Seemingly out of nowhere, Judd shoots over the scene and hovers over the shocked and awed crowd. Judd continues way too loud. Have no fear. Seth makes a face. He's not sure what that was. Oh well, he's trying. An onlooker says, "Is that Green Lantern?" Another onlooker says, "Must be a new one, unless he's been eating." The other onlooker says, "Could be a thyroid thing." Judd goes after the looters first. He flies over them, terrified but determined. Judd says, "Ah!" The looters look at him like he's nuts, but also incredibly scary. Judd continues, "Drop the stuff." Looters freeze, not sure what to do. Judd doesn't either. They start to run, and Judd continues, "Whoa!" Judd fires the ring's ray, forming a couple of bottles. The ray, then the ray, then breaks over their head. Couple of bottles. The ray then breaks over their head. The looters panic and start shooting at Judd, who immediately creates a shield with the ray.
So I'm so confused.
Yeah,
Because Avensur died, unless this is a new Green Lantern. So this is an established DC universe where there's been other Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
But Avensur just died. So obviously alternate universe. So who was the Green Lantern before this? Because Alan Scott was the Green Lantern before Hal Jordan, but honestly, um, Alan
I
Scott
think,
is not
to
a
be
member of the.
honest, I think we're thinking about it too much.
That's fair, but my brain
This
doesn't
is a
do that.
film that we're about to have a giant condom appear.
Excuse me?
I think we're thinking about this too much. God.
My God.
I
Sorry.
understand. I understand your brain working that way. But yeah, this is definitely not a film that cares enough so much about lore.
Oh God, I'm so glad this didn't happen. And honestly, I've thought about it. I'm really glad that Ryan Reynolds as Wally West didn't happen either, because that would have been inaccurate.
Probably.
Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so Judd 9. Seth looks at Judd incredulously as the shield fights off the bullets. Judd, that's right, friggin' garbage. Judd creates a giant broom, sweeping the looters into a giant dustpan. The crowd applauds. One of the looters defiantly throws a knife at surprised Judd, who dodges it, tears a bit of his uniform. Judd says, "Scumbags." Ray forms a giant condom that unrolls down on the looters, trapping them inside. Onlookers are disturbed. Judd's cell phone rings. He picks it up. It's Seth. Seth says, "Change that. Change it now." Judd, "I'm sorry. It's just what came out." Seth, "Just make it a jail cell now." Judd changed it to jail cell, and onlookers appear relieved. Judd, "Look, I got this, okay? We could talk about this later." Seth says, "You got it? What was with the 9? Don't say 9." Judd says, "I get that. I don't know. I was scared." Seth says, "You don't have to say things." Judd says, "You're making this harder." This is what?
It wouldn't have been a good movie, but to be honest, I think I would have enjoyed the hell out of how unhinged it is. Like I would have just been like, "What the fuck?" the whole time. I would have still probably enjoyed myself.
I so
I
if
I
this were
don't I don't have super highbrow standards for humor, I guess.
no, and honestly, humor wise, I don't have a problem with it. Except for some of the racial things earlier. I know
Yeah,
that
those
that's what we
yeah,
talked
those are
about.
not
Yeah.
great.
But um, and with that being said, I think because I've been into the Justice League my entire life, like that show in the early 2000s was like a huge part of growing up for me, right? Um, I think I would have been pissed. I think I might have
Oh,
left the
oh
theater.
god.
Like at this
Oh,
point, I would have seen the condom and uh, the
it's just like what the
ensuing
hell?
dialogue afterwards, and I think this
Yeah,
probably would be where I left the theater.
I think you have to for something like this. They definitely would have had to be make very sure that when they were are doing marketing for it, they make it clear this is a parody. This is not gonna be your average superhero film.
Well,
Because if you don't make sure of that, then yeah, you will have a lot of people leaving the theater. Versus if they make it clear during the promotion that this isn't that don't expect this to be a serious adaptation of these characters, or, I think that would help it a lot. One thing I'm thinking about as we're reading this is since this would have been signed as R rated, a lot of this stuff that he's creating, that would be expensive to create with CGI. I am like, I I don't know if this would have been only been profitable enough for them to be willing to spend that kind of money on all of that CGI.
that's not even the expensive part that I think they fucked up on. It's the licensing.
Mhm.
Like you have to pay to use someone else's IP. Whereas if they'd been like, "Hey, this is a parody of Green Lantern, and we're gonna call it something else, but it's gonna be distinct enough and uh, enough of a parody that it's fair use," it would have been a different situation entirely. Um,
Yeah,
but to actually call it Green Lantern and follow through with it, I think was their first mistake. The
Yeah.
CGI and effects would have been very expensive as well. I do agree with you on that.
Oh yeah. Like even just this giant condom like that. That's a pretty big effect to have to make. I yeah, there's probably people who find that funny. I might even find it funny, but but I don't know if the most studios be willing to spend that kind of money on that big of effect for
I
an
guess
R-rated film.
I guess you could say the condo would be a hard sell. I'll go stand in the corner.
Oh my god. The I don't know what's what this like with this nine stuff of like it gives off a bit of a weird vibe when you know the fact that that especially when you know that Jack Black is Jewish, so they wanted to force him to say something that the Nazis said. That's a little weird.
Well, and it plays into yet another stereotype too, because I mean, it, the implicit like speaking German into Nazi is also like
Yeah.
dumb. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, oh, Judd hangs up and flies over to the area with the hole and trapped cars. As Judd continues, "Stand back, citizens." Onlooker says, "Maybe he was taking prednisone. That's the stuff Jerry Lewis was on." Another onlooker says, "Right." Judd surveys the scene. Quite a mess. Judd says, "Wow." Judd concentrates and conjures a large green tow truck with his ring. People are somewhat confused and overwhelmed. Judd lands near the truck and pulls out a few green cables. Judd continues to an onlooker. Want to help me with these cables? The onlooker starts to help. Judd continues. Sweet. Okay, let's hook it up to that Impala first. You grab that side. I Seth is cringing, just like the audience. The woman an onlooker speaks up, saying, "Can't you do this faster?" Judd says, "Wow, okay, I thought I was helping you here." Another onlooker says, "Yeah, but the cops will come with a tow truck." Judd thinks, "Right, well, I'm not Superman." Yeah, before or we go to your page, one thing I'm noticing as a interesting, weird, recurring joke that I don't know what how would have got over is. Have you noticed this weird thing of like all the onlookers are obsessed with medications he might be taking?
I think that was pretty par for the course for the time.
I was like, what? That's
Yeah,
very strange and it's very specific thing to be making jokes about.
yeah. No, it I think that was uh relatively commonplace. Also, the prednisone thing, I was like, damn, that's kind of true. I had to take prednisone like early this year. I had like fallen and hit a staircase at full speed. I made bad decisions. Anyway, but like it was a 5 day high dose and like I bloated like ridiculously. Anyway, prednisone's disgusting. That's a random tangent, my bad.
You can go your page.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, as he thinks the ring conjures up Green Superman, who instantly lifts the cars out of the hole, the crowd cheers wildly. Judd, you're welcome. The Green Superman retreats back into Judd's ring, and a huge green, mysterious concrete slash tar composite emerges. Using the ring almost like a hose, Judd fills the hole and hardens immediately as a green circle. Judd, this is temporary, people. Proceed with. Some cars are already off, practically running over Judd. Judd says, "Whoa, okay." Judd assumes a triumphant pose, figuring he better quit while ahead. Judd, and so my work here is done. Suddenly, a yellow bolt shoots down, just missing Judd and creating a brand new, perfect hole in the ground. Judd says, "What?" Cars screech to a halt. A few slip partially into the hole. Judd says, "Who did that?" Judd turns and sees the source of the bolt, a ringed alien on a rooftop, who fires another bolt right at Judd. Judd says, "Holy shit," as he dodges it. Judd fires a green fist at the alien, who holds up a yellow shield, intercepting it the fist and firing it back at Judd, who dodges the punch. Judd says, "Holy hell."
So this is definitely a Yellow Lantern like Sinestro, but Sinestro doesn't have wings. I'm curious who this might have been.
That's true, and also because I know that the Yellow Lantern Corps was created during Jeff Johns' run, which started in 2006, but I think Sinestro was the only one with the yellow ring back then.
Hmm.
Because Jeff Johns with Green Lantern Rebirth created the other Lantern Corps. Um,
Or at least I'm assuming it's a Yellow Lantern. Maybe it's not. It just as happens to be that the same year that the comics introduced the Yellow Lanterns that they had a yellow alien
I,
in this.
yep. They were introduced in Green Lantern number 7 in May 2006.
Hmm.
So this must be a stand-in for Sinestro, like
I
specifically
guess.
Sinestro.
Maybe it was maybe like when they were actually like writing the script, they might have heard that there was gonna be a yellow lantern character or something, but maybe the comic actually had not come out yet, so they had to work with the little that DC gave them.
Well, that's potentially true. I know that Sinestro definitely existed before this.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so he had his yellow ring and all that stuff based off fear and all that, but the other yellow lanterns didn't exist before that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
The alien fires another bolt at Judd, who creates his own greed shield to stop it. The bolt goes right through, however, just missing Judd, but creating another huge hole in the ground. Judd continues, shit! Judd darts into the sky and immediately speed dials his cell phone as he dodges another bolt. Seth picks up the phone. Seth says, yeah? Judd says, who is this guy? Seth says, I have no idea. Judd says, he's an asshole. Seth says, I know. Judd says, I can't get my ring stuff to work. Seth says, it's the yellow thing. Judd says, what? Seth says, the bolts are yellow. Your ring has no power against anything yellow. Judd says, nobody told me that. Seth says, yes, the dying guy told us. You weren't paying attention. Judd says, I was too paying attention. You didn't. Judd dodges another bolt, just barely.
That says, well, somebody knows, well, everybody knows that. It has to do with an impurity in the universe back when the Guardians. Judd says, yeah, whatever, Spock. What do I do now? Seth says, go invisible. Judd says, huh? Seth says, go invisible. That guy can't see you or hit you. Judd says, that's good. Judd concentrates with the ring and becomes invisible. However, his cell phone is still visible. Judd says, okay. Another bolt nearly hits him. Seth says, lose the cell phone. Judd says, how will we talk? Seth says, one problem at a time. Judd tosses the cell phone. The alien searches for him. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a green laser gun appears behind the alien, firing a laser that incinerates the alien. Judd says, yow, I is a badass. Judd materializes on the roof where the alien had stood. He's doing an obnoxious Terrell Owens like dance. Judd says, take it back to Mars, bitch. You is in my house. Anyone got my phone? So not a lantern?
I bet. I don't know. This is weird. The crowd outstares the judge as his ring sends out a green ray that scopes the area. A green frog at the end of the ray sticks his tongue out and pulls in a cell phone. The ray retracts and actually Judd takes the phone from the frog. Judge continues, nice job. The phone rings. It's Seth calling him from the highway again. Seth says, you're not supposed to kill things. Just as I'm not. It's not good for the kids. You put them in a jail cell or a capsule, you let the authorities handle it. Just as that guy was a dick. Just as I'm just saying, that's why the people are a little weirded out. Just as they are? I thought they were just, stupefied. So it says, it's okay, you're a superhero. You're setting an example. You'll learn and they'll love you. Judd says, wait, I'm supposed to be at my folks already. Tonight's dinner at home. Seth says, okay, change and I'll wait for you. Another onlooker says, gotta fix these holes. Judd says, yeah.
So I do like the idea of it being a superhero being a thankless job.
Yeah.
I keep going into comic lore in my head, like that wouldn't work. Like the rings actually have like countermeasures built in to stop lethal measures, unless the Guardians specifically allow it. But different universe, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I'll let it go. Anyway, uh, he starts to go to work. The green frog hops over, sticking his tongue out with another cell phone. Judd says, no, that's someone else's, thanks. Exterior suburban townhouse, evening. Modest home situated over Plato Pharmacy, a small business owned by Judd's parents. Interior dining room. The Grim Diner consists of Judd wearing a sweatshirt, his brother Dan, a young pharmacist wearing a shirt and tie, his father George, few words, semi-retired, his mom Bonnie serving dinner, doting on Dan, disappointed Judd, not shy about it. Dan says, and I said, look, Zithromax is never going to be a cakewalk, but you'd never give it some serious thought because Triamanics only gotten us so far. I did not expect medications to be this specific. All right.
Yeah, I'm like, this is such a specific joke. It's crazy.
Yeah, very niche. Bonnie says, sounds like you handled it perfectly. Dan says, well, I'm sorry it held me up. Bonnie said, oh, that's nothing compared to Judd here. Judd says, I told you there was traffic, Mom. George says, there's always traffic, Judd. Judd says, no, this was different. Dan says, is that where the Green Lantern was? Bonnie says, the Green Lantern.
Dan says, yeah, I heard there was a Green Lantern over on 84, or fixing holes in the hallway, the highway. Bonnie says, is that what held you up, Judd? Or were you busy eating a squirrel's uterus?
Jesus fucking Christ.
What the fuck, man? George says, all right, Bonnie. Bonnie says, I hope you have room for custard. Judd sighs. As Bonnie continues, we have to live in this town. People know he's ours. They don't care that he was a mistake. George says, all right, Bonnie. Judd says, yeah, Dan, and the Green Lantern was there. Dan says, cool. That's like the 12th most important superhero. Judd says, you know what? I'm going to go. But he says, see, I told you. He must have filled up on grasshopper scrotum or whatever he eats on that show. Judd says, I'm going. Judd starts to leave. Bonnie says, "Don't do anything crazy like getting a girl or a real job." George says, "All right, Bonnie. Judd, take care. Are you eliminated yet?"
John, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is fucking rough.
Yeah, wow, some of these jokes are crazy.
So Judd says, "Soon, Dad, soon." Judd exits. Exterior house. Judd is on the cell phone. Judd says, "Meet me on Clark Street." Exterior downtown streets. A crappy, dangerous neighborhood. Judd is back in his Green Lantern suit, prowling his streets with Seth. Instead of pockets, Judd's equipped his suit now with a fanny pack like belt, which compartments for his wallet, uh, cell phone, a can of Pringles, and sunblock. Seth says, "This isn't how Green Lantern does it, Judd." Judd says, "Whatever, friend, it's clobbering time." Seth says, "That's not Green Lantern's line." Judd says, "Who wants a taste of green?" Taste of the green. Seth says, "That sounds perverted and Irish, Judd. I don't know what's bothering you, but if you want to kick ass so badly, you're gonna have to go find it. People aren't just gonna come up to a superhero." Judd says, "I'm not just out to kick ass." How can you say that? You know me, I'm all about justice. Seth says, "Right. Like paying me on that bet that Genesis would reunite? $50, remember?"
Man. And people thought that that Hal Jordan in the new show is unprofessional.
Which, by the way, I'm loving that show.
Yeah,
My
I
God.
liked it too. Yeah. John says, "Hey, so gambling is an illicit activity. There's no superhero that would condone by owned by paying a debt." So it says, "Good one. So why are we here again?" And Judd says, "To mete out justice." Seth says, "Can we meet it out in time for Robot Chicken?" Indicates a nearby police car. Why don't you see what those cops are up to?" Judd says, "That's good." Judd's green ring and bell it eavesdrops on the police car and plays it for Judd and Seth. Cop number one on voiceover. "Look, you patrol high school enough times, it's gonna happen." Cop number two, voiceover. "I mean, they make it almost impossible for us." Judd, this is perfect. I Cop number two. "They know we're cops and they don't give a damn." So, that says pushers. The cop op number one says that this one kid that Gary had to deal with. And Judd says, "Where's he? Let's get him."
Jesus fucking Christ. All right.
God.
So cop number one, voiceover. "I mean the tits on this girl every day, sticking them in his face." Judd and Seth are embarrassed. Cop number two says, "Did he go for it?" Cop number one, "What do you think? She really was 18 though. He checked it out." Cop two says, "Smart." Cop one says, "Holy Christ, I saw her. She looks 25." And he said she banged like a French whore. Seth says, "Okay, let's just hook into the dispatch radio." Judd doesn't hear him, still listening. Cop one says, "Oh yeah, chick has an older sister who taught her the ropes." Cop two, "Nice." Seth says, "Judd." Cop one says, "This girl was into everything. One day she's going for his cuffs." Seth says, "Judd." Judd says, "What?" Seth says, "You're not meeting out justice." Oh,
Wow. That was that was
okay.
something.
So we were like, "Oh yeah, those parts are a little problematic." That, yeesh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not okay.
If the script actually cared about portraying a superhero actually as a superhero, they'd have Judd go and just summon a giant iron green hammer and just completely crush that op car because it's like fuck those guys.
No, fuck those guys. But like,
They deserve to die. It's like
yeah,
though they deserve to die. I like I, Jesus Christ.
that's like the same energy as like the gross motherfuckers who were like counting down till Millie Bobby Brown turned
Oh,
18. Probably happened
right.
since then, but that's the last time I remember hearing about it.
Yeah, like there's been people who've done shitty stuff like that with many child stars. I was like famously a SNL in the 90s and 2000s had a countdown to when the Olsen twins turned to adults.
Yep, yep. That definitely happened.
Yep.
Fucking Christ.
Judd sighs. I said, 2 more minutes. A woman suddenly screams off camera. Judd and Seth turn. She has run out of a Circle K. Cop number or two voiceover says she cuffed him to his bed. Cop number one says she and the sister. Seth says Judd. Judd sighs and runs off to the Circle K. Inside, two doughy-looking robbers are holding up a high school kid. Judd bursts in. The high school kid says, "Whoa, Green Lantern!" Judd says, "Yes, I am." High school kid says, "You're like the 10th most." So Judd says, "Yeah, I know. Let's do this." Robbers fire guns at Judd. Judd points the ray at the bullets, turning them into flying popcorn kernels. He snatches a few and eats them. Judd continues, kettle. The robbers' guns are out of bullets. It's Judd's rings green ray zaps the guns, turning into designer ladies' shoes. The robbers are puzzled. Judd continues, saying, "Well, go ahead, try them on." Robert Watt says, "Let's get out of here." They run out of the store. Judd's ring conjures two green treadmills under their feet. They have sophisticated readouts.
Is
So
the Green Lantern ring capable of transmutation now? Is that
yeah,
what's
I'm
happening?
like, what the hell? Oh my god! Like, I could maybe understand if like he could somehow with the Green Lantern ring change the shape of something by having the green stuff go around it and just crush it into a shape. But like actually changing it into another thing, I can't. That would make no sense. As for the Green Lantern ring to be able to do.
That the Green Lantern ring cannot do that.
Yeah, I know. I know it can't.
Yeah,
I'm like, I
that's like some Firestorm
like
shit.
imagine it's funny to think about say if sign like what by trying to find an explanation for it were to actually be true. Like that would mean that once he stopped focusing, making the green stuff around these bullets, he would just have bullets in his stomach.
Yeah. Um, on top of that, I recognize it's a bit, but there is a shit ton of disrespect in that he's the 12th most important superhero. He's the 10th most. Green Lantern is like one of the five most important heroes in the DC universe.
Yeah.
It's
The
like
thing
the
is,
Trinity, Flash, and Green Lantern, like 100%.
well, okay, I I get the vibe that people aren't specifically talking about DC heroes, just heroes in general. So they'd be counting on Marvel characters too, and like that's why, and that's why they had like that it's clobbering time reference.
That's fair. And what I
So like
what I assumed when they said that was
when you count it then, I would imagine he would be a lot lower.
I'm trying to think what Marvel heroes would be that high. I mean, like Captain America for sure.
Yeah, Captain
Um,
America, Spider Man, Hulk,
well,
Wolverine.
we're talking street level understanding. So like
True.
if they existed in that universe, right?
Yeah, like I'm assuming just like they're going by like what was the most popular in real life
Fair.
superheroes during in the 2000s, which would have been
Okay,
in
fair enough.
I
That's a good
don't
point.
maybe not Captain America at that point because like didn't like really the 2011 Captain America film really do a
Oh,
lot in building him back up
it,
after some previous films was really took him out of the public zeitgeist.
I've seen those films, and yes, but two things about that. One, if we're talking about importance as uh, if they're lived in the universe,
Mhm.
Captain America would be like he's the living legend for a reason. Like
Yeah.
his importance in universe was always more important than his popularity
Mhm.
in sales. Um,
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just guessing that they're going
yeah,
by what were the most popular
yeah. No, I was
characters
just
for in
explaining my
comics.
rationale.
Yeah,
Um,
I understand where you're coming from, though.
um, yeah. I don't know. That bit just irritates the fuck out of me. All right. Anyway,
Mhm.
is it?
I think
Oh,
it's
is
your
it me?
turn. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Judd says, "Look at that, 60 calories in 10 minutes. Don't say this was a wasted day." The two cops in the patrol car pull over and arrive at the scene. Judd does make the action, then does. Judd says, "They're all yours, officers." Whoa. Seth says, "Don't say it." Judd says, "You can cuff him now." Forget it. The cops are a bit confused as Judd exits and notices that the crowd gathered to witness this. Judd says, "Folks, my work here is done. Time for this bird to fly." Judd points his ring and soars to the delight of the crowd. He swoops down with a flourish and lifts Seth back up with him. Seth says, "What are you doing? They can't know we're friends." Judd says, "Geez, I thought you'd dig it." "Fine, disguise." Judd points the ring at Seth, giving him some blonde curly hair and mustache. Seth says, "Oh, that's great." Judd says, "Just look happy, man."
How do you give someone blonde hair with a green ring?
Also, what color is blonde?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I am
No,
like
it's
blonde is not green hair. You
no,
can't. How would that make sense?
blonde is yellow.
Yeah, like
Yellow is specifically the color that fucks his ring up. Which has been established in this goddamn movie so far. How did this not air? I don't understand. All right. Seth says, "Oh, that's great." Judd says, "Just look happy, man. I'm giving the people an exit." Then we swoop over Corinne's house. Seth says, "Corinne's house." Judd says, "She gets a glimpse of the green and the seeds of lust are planted. And what the hell now?"
Judd feels himself of wobbling in the air. Seth says, "What's up, Judd?" Judd says, "Feel like we're gonna fall or something." The green light from Judd's ring is flickering a bit. Seth says, "Oh shit, the ring." This is what do you mean? Why is it so weak? Seth says, "It's been 24 hours since you got the ring. You have to recharge it." Seth says, "What?" Says who? Seth says, "The dying guy." Did you hear anything he said? Seth says, "What kind of bullshit? Is this some corporate Enron thing?" They're sorry to fall. Seth says, "What are you talking about?" Just as it's like they do it on purpose, dude. Like that bulb, all the GE has that lasts forever. That but they won't put it out because no one on will buy bulbs. Seth says, This has nothing to do with that. Jesus, make it stop. They're falling fast now. Judd says, I can't. It's too weak.
Seth says, then save it for the landing. Judd says, what? Seth says, forget trying to fly. Think of something soft to land on. Judd says, like what? Seth says, just think. Now. Judd, nah. Before they land, Judd's ring conjures up a green giant race car shaped bed in the middle of the street. They land on it just in time. There's an odd quiet as everyone on the street stares at Judd and Seth and the giant bed. Judd notices everyone as he climbs out of the bed. Judd says, ring went out. Everyone's still silent. The bed is now blocking traffic. Judd says, let me get rid of this. Judd attempts to remove the bed with his ring, but the ring is totally spent. Judd and Seth try to move the bed, but it's huge. Judd looks out weakly. We'll be back. They hustle away as people are bewildered. Seth says, a race car bed? Judd says, you said think of something really soft. Mine was really soft. Seth said, yeah, it was.
Be honest, with the tone of this script, I'm kind of surprised the judge didn't just as think giant boobs.
This script is so goddamn horny. I don't get it.
Like it is so horny. That's why I'm like, I I would not have been surprised if that had been it.
No, you said that. And I was like, yeah, that's par for the course. Lock.
And here, John's apartment later. John is charging the ring with the Green Lantern battery. Seth says, "As in brightest day, in blackest night." Say it. Judd says, "What for? It's charging fine." Seth says, "It's not magic. It's a vow. No evil shall escape my sight." I Judd extremely solemnly says, "I wish I may. I wish I might." Seth says, "Shut up." So it says, "Be as gay as." Seth says, "Yeah, that's cute, Judd. That's cute. But there's a lot about this you still need to learn. Tell me, oh wise visitor from Comic-Con." Seth says, "Being a Green Lantern is a job. It's not about banging Corrine." Judd says, "I smell jealous." Or Seth says, "Or proving something to your mom. This power comes with great responsibility." Judd says, "No, it doesn't. That's other superheroes, like Spider-Man." Seth says, "Judd, that goes for every superhero."
See, I would have seen this. Let's say this aired today, and I left right when I said I did. The clip of that scene would have gone up on TikTok. I would have seen it and been like, I made the right decision. Anyway, so that says it's a universal truth that Spider-Man, actually, his Uncle Ben said it. The point is, Judd has conjured a green babe who's opening green pistachio nuts and feeding them to Judd on his couch. Seth says, you got this power for a reason, and you are being judged on how you use it, and you noticing the green babe and all, you'll have to answer for it, Judd. There will be consequences. Judd says, I got some green on my fingers. The babe starts to lick the green off Judd's fingers, and Judd's cat rushes in and licks his hand as well. Judd tries to shoo the cat. Exterior planet Oa, the yellow futuristic planet inhabited by the Guardians of the Universe. Interior Council of the Guardians. The Guardians, small elderly blue men with large heads and identical red robes, sit in a sparse futuristic room watching a green monitor. On the monitor is a scene in Judd's apartment with the green babe, the pistachios, the licking of the cat in the hall. They are concerned. Guardian number 1. The one who has succeeded Abin Sur wields the power ring most recklessly. Guardian number 3. Surely Abin Sur chose the worthiest successor, and he has displayed the requisite fearlessness, both in practice and on cable television. Guardian number two, then his training is insufficient.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I probably would do the same. I probably would like to have a green babe,
Nope.
but
No, I'd be good on that.
The Guardian number one says, as perhaps the criteria for choosing the Green Lanterns needs to be increased to qualities like humility. They watched Judd throw his cat across the room. Guardian 3, intelligence. Guardian 4, emotional maturity. Guardian number 2, the criteria of fearlessness has served us well for eons. Let us give the one in Sector 2814 sufficient time to prove himself. Judd has put some pistachios on his toes for the baby to lick off. Fucking Quentin Tarantino ass shit. Seth is consoling the cat. Guardian number 4 says, "Very well, we shall monitor his activity in the coming days, but for now, I can't watch this." Guardian number 1 says, "Me either." Guardian number 2 says, "Understood." They switch off the monitor. Interior furniture store the next day. John is struggling to push a very heavy bin filled with several old geometric bed frames. A woman customer walks by and tosses a can of Diet Coke into the bin. And Judd steams and doesn't need this shit. He's a surreptitiously he puts out his green ring, creating floating green tongs with his ray that lift the can out of the bin and pour the remaining contents into the unsuspecting woman's handbag. I just quickly puts the ring back into Corian's office later. Corian is chatting with Amy, an assistant manager.
Corinne says, he was really cute. An investment banker. Amy says, oh, nice. Corinne says, I know, so far so good, right? But then this fat, curly-haired brunette walks by. Amy says, how fat? Corinne says, you know fat. Fatter than me. 125. Amy says, gross. I'm sorry, are they saying 125 pounds is fat?
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Yeah, okay.
Like,
So,
like,
fuck this script.
yeah, like not only fat phobic, but just like absolutely insane. Hey, like 125 pounds is super skinny,
Yeah, no.
dangerously skinny. I feel like.
I don't know about dangerously skinny. It depends on how tall they are. But for most adult women, 125 is significantly underweight.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Um, yeah, that's fucked. Anyway, um, Jed is about 10 feet away from the door. Uh, he uh he is hearing. Oh, he is hearing everything. There's some typos in this script. I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie. Uh, he's hearing everything through a tiny green earpiece he holds to his ear. Corinne says, and I could see it in his eyes. 5 minutes later, he's at her table. Amy says, asshole. A floor supervisor stares at Judd for a moment. Judd stretches his ear and smiles as if to explain his stance. The supervisor continues to stare. Judd quietly pulls the piece out of his ear. The supervisor walks away. Judd walks a bit closer to the wall near Corinne's office. Positioning himself where no one will see, he quickly points the green ring to his right ear and turns it into a large green dog's ear. He resumes listening. Corinne says, I wasn't mad though, because I'm just looking to have fun, too. even if it's not the right guy.
Yeah, I was just thinking about sign that would make a lot more sense for this script than Green Lantern. What if this were to be a mask movie, like Jim Carrey's The Mask, an R-rated version of that? That feels a lot like the tone they're going for.
I could be down for that.
Like
Um,
I'm not saying that
Not
makes
with the
it
jokes
make
that are
it
in here, but
better,
I
better with
yeah,
like these specific jokes, Oaks, but like
yeah,
this tone feels like that's really what they're going for, or not for, like instead, maybe the like person making this wanted to make a mask film, but they weren't able to get those rights, but they were able to get Green Lantern rights.
yeah. Well, and honestly, Mask was published by Dark Horse, so it's creator owned. Um, I would think that the IP for Green Lantern would be more expensive. I mean, 2006 comics, the comic industry was on the come up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, obviously, both Marvel and DC crashed pretty hard in the 90s. Um, but it, at this point, we're starting to see a resurgence of like Silver Age heroes and stuff like that. So comics are selling again. We have Spider-Man, X-Men, and then Batman Begins was out at this point too, right?
Yeah, that was
Um,
2003, 2004, something like that.
I thought it was five, but and I get the Hulk movies happened, but the first Hulk movie had happened, but that the Ang
Yeah.
Lee I don't think did terribly well. Um, but regardless, I would think that superhero IPs would be harder to come by than something like The Mask, where it's entirely creator owned. Even though there had been
Mm-hmm.
successful movie in the past with it, uh, I would
It
think
was
that
like, I think with the mask, it's less that us that you being able to afford it, and more that studios weren't willing to pay for that
fair.
because of Son of the Mask,
Oh, when was Son of the Mask? Was that early 2000s?
2003, I believe.
Okay, that sounds right.
So that would probably be why they wouldn't have been able to be the mask, as but like specifically stuff like turning his ear into a giant green dog's ear. That feels like eyeing out the Jim Carrey mask movie.
It does. It does.
Amy, a voiceover as like cute, an investment banker. And says, "Stop! He doesn't have to be rich. Rich, just not a total loser."
Do you think the people who wrote this script have ever heard women talk to each other before?
Don't know. Oh my
No, I'm
god.
just checking.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's
Alison
not.
Bechdel is fucking crying.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, this is not passing the Bechdel test. They both laugh. All right. Amy says, like, you mean like every guy here? Here, they both laugh. Judd steams and retracts the dog ear. Cut to Corrine and Amy coming out of Corrine's office. Judd sees them and instinctively tries to hide, even though they have no clue what he was doing. And Judd cops to stare at Corrine's ass. Damn, he gets madder. Screw this. Interior here furniture store bathroom. Moments later, Judd has opened the window in the bathroom as far as possible. He double checks that no one is around, immediately transforms himself into Green Lantern, points the ring at the window opening, and flies out, briefly catching his foot on the windowsill. Exterior furniture store moments later, Judd in the Green Lantern suit, hovering in the sky, eye outside the store. He flies a bit and finds irons the window of Corian's office. Corian is back in there. He thinks for a moment and flies off. Exterior city moments later. Judd is flown to a more crowded area, looking for trouble. Unfortunately, everything is placid. Exterior or city a street moments later. Judd eyes an elderly woman and trying to cross a wide street. She makes it. Oh well. That is insane to be like be annoyed that that an elderly woman makes it across the street because you can't save her. That's such an insane thing.
We're veering out of superhero territory into supervillain territory. And the reason I say that, just to talk about a good plot for a while. So in the 25th century, this dude, Eobard Thawne, is inspired by the Flash, like figures out how to tap into the Speed Force, all that stuff, gets powers, and he decides he's going to be the Flash of the 25th century, right? Super noble. He looks around, there's not enough crime to happen. So he starts to like cause crime himself. Until the Flash ends up actually showing up there, Barry Allen, and basically stops Eobard Thawne, who becomes the Reverse Flash. That's like how they became arch enemies. Um, yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
Like,
So obviously we're not going to be finishing this tonight.
yeah.
I how are you feeling? How much time do you have probably about left?
For me, I could probably do another half hour, 45 minutes.
Okay. I um want to try to go till page 65. That will be about halfway.
You got a deal.
Uh,
Um, so exterior fire department, moments later, Judd zips over to see if there's a problem. Nothing. Peeks inside. Some firemen are playing billiards. Wow. Exterior skyscraper, moments later. Judd passes a couple of skyscrapers discouraged. Then he notices a scaffold on a very high floor. A window washer goes about his daily business. Judd eyes him and thinks. Judd pulls out his cell phone and dials. Intercut with uh, interior Best Buy type store. Seth, standing in his uniform, checks his cell phone, sees who it's from, and answers it surreptitiously. Seth, what is it? Judd, yeah, look, I want some Corinne, and I'm thinking about doing something that you're probably going to say I shouldn't, but I gotta ask. Seth says, what is it? Judd says, you know what? Forget it. Judd hangs up and points his ring at the scaffolding. Judd to ring invisible. The ray goes invisible and nudges the scaffolding, sending the window washer falling and screaming. Judd, okey doke. I fucking called it.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. As the crowd below screams, Judd flies in from seemingly nowhere, actually from a landing, and points his ring at the falling window washer, or creates a giant green trampoline underneath him. The window washer bounces high off the trampoline, which disappears, and then and Judd catches him with a bit of difficulty at first, then smoothly carrying him in the air with the aid of his ring. The crowd cheers wildly. Window washer says, "Hey, Dios mio! Oh, it's a miracle." Judd says, "No problem." With that, Judd starts to fly off with the window washer. The crowd is briefly confused, but chooses to cheer. A crowd member says, "Where are they going?" Another crowd member says, "Maybe he's taking him to a hospital for precautions." Judd, hearing this, that's good, senor. I'm taking you to the hospital. The window washer says, "I'm fine. Gracias." Judd says, "Please, I know better. I'm heroic. I think there's one around here." Judd has flown the window washer all the way back to the vicinity of his furniture store. The window washer says, "I'm okay." Judd flies past Corinne's window. She doesn't notice. Judd flies past again. This time he briefly kicks the upper window. The window washer continues. Where's the hospital? Judd flies past one more time. This time Chlorine is out the window. Oh, he flies as a bit more slowly.
Is he a superhero? Like, we're past that point,
Jesus
right?
Christ. Like, yeah, this is insane.
Like, he's basically abducted this poor man.
Yeah.
Jesus fuck. Okay. Um, Interior furniture store. Judd has entered the store with the window washer. Everyone turns and notices. Judd addresses the supervisor, but speaks for all to hear in a slightly affected superhero tones. Judd says, "Pardon me. I just saved this gentleman who fell off a scaffolding. I can't seem to find a hospital around here." Supervisor says, "You saved this man?" Corinne hurries forward, clearly awed by Judd. Corinne says, I saw him. I saw him out my window." Judd says, "Perhaps you can help me. I'm Green Lantern." Corinne is starstruck and says, "Yes, of course I can help. The Mercy Hospital is probably the closest. You go north on 84. Actually, I was going to fly." Corinne says, "Oh well." Exterior fly moments, exterior sky moments later. Uh, Judd is flying, carrying a smiling Corinne who offers directions and the confused window washer. Interior Mercy Hospital ER waiting room. Judd and Corinne bring the window washer to the triage desk.
Judd says, as I just saved this gentleman from falling off a scaffold. See that he's all right. Will do, the clerk says to the window washer. What type of insurance? The window washer says, I don't have. He turns to Green Lantern, who is gone along with Corinne. The clerk says, proof of residency? The window washer bolts. So they're doing a legal alien joke.
Yeah, so that would not land today. On top of that, I don't think I've ever been that down bad before I even got bacon.
Into your romantic restaurant later. Judd, still in Green Lantern's uniform, is bullshitting superhero style over dessert and wine with the still starstruck Kareen. The maitre d' comes over and tears up the bill. Jug shrugs humbly. Exterior tree-lined street later. Judd and Kareen are walking and chatting. Judd notices a cat in a tree, but continues chatting and walking as his sends a green hand behind him that pulls the cat out of the tree and flies over to its owner, or delivering the cat to her bewilderment. Exterior Kareen's house later. Judd and Kareen make out at her front door. Suddenly, Telltag, a man in a suit with an oversized bald head, runs up to him. Telltag, I said, "You're the one they call Green Lantern?" Judd says, Yeah, you want a picture or what?
Telltag says, "I must speak with you. It is utmost importance." Judd says, "Excuse me, Corinne." Judd takes Telltag out of earshot. Judd says, "This isn't the prime time, Kojak." Telltag says, "But you're a target. The Chiki seek the Green Lanterns to take them to Oa." Judd says, "Wait, what are the who?" Telltag says, "I'm Telltag. I've escaped my planet of Chick via teleport. My Dito flare distracted the patrol. The quabbles you deflected were." Judd says, Whoa, time out, science, not my thing. English or bust." Telltag says, "They have built a transformer bridge to your plus matter universe. They, they will trace your whereabouts, as have I. You must." Judd says, "I mustn't. Okay, not tonight," pointing to the door. "Abla? So take take it back to the Planet Cock blog and we'll chat tomorrow." Telltag says, "But the time is," Judd says, "of the essence?" "Yeah, so's my dick." Telltag appears puzzled.
Is is Telltale a character from the comics that you know
Not that I know of, but that doesn't mean.
of? Mm-hmm.
I mean, the cosmic side of DC is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So,
oh, nope. Yep, he definitely is.
well,
Uh, he's a fictional comic book character from the DC universe created by John Broome and Gil Kane, who first appeared in Green Lantern Volume 2, Number 2 in 1960. He's a resident and record keeper from Cord, the planet in which antimatter in the universe, where evil is praised. Unlike his peers, Telltale appears to be good. Um, which Cord is where the anti-monitor is from. Uh, and also it is ruled by Sinestro.
huh,
I
interesting.
I thought he was from there, but I could be wrong about that. Or I don't know. Liv
John
is going to answer this and text me why I'm wrong. Anyway,
John continued says, sorry, that was weak. But I think we understand each other, right? I'm about to turn on the little Green Lantern, if you
uh,
Telltale says, but I must. Judd zaps him with the ring as he approaches the door. Exterior Beach. Day. Telltag is suddenly in the same position in the middle of an outdoor bar at a beach resort. A Mexican waiter hands him a strawberry daiquiri. Telltag says, Green Lantern, where are you? Exterior Corinne's house later. Or Judd says, Lantern and Corinne make out at her front door. Corinne says, as wow, I just can't believe this is happening. Judd says, I know. Perhaps it was fate that window washer happened to fall and me happening to save him. Corinne says, it happening to pass my office. It had to be. You're just so incredible and hot compared to guys I'm used to. Judd knows this, but can't help but feel a little hurt. Corey continued, and I'm like so comfortable with you. I thought I'd be intimidated, but I feel so safe with you. Judd says, yeah, well, I'm a superhero. Corey says, so come on in, Green. Come on.
this makes me feel icky. Okay.
Yeah.
So Judd says, I really should be turning in. I like to get started early. Corinne's a little disappointed and said, okay, will I see you again? Judd says, sure. I know where you work. She smiles weakly. In the interior of Judd's apartment, Judd, in his underwear, is reviewing what happened with Seth. Numerous 2 foot tall green elves, male and female, are changing his sheets and cleaning his place with Swippers. Well, hang on. So he ditched Telltag and then didn't even like follow through. Like,
Yeah.
what was the entire point of that?
I don't know, but I'm honestly glad that he didn't follow through
Yeah,
because that
I I,
is
I do agree.
is rape by manipulation.
No, I agree. 100%.
Like that is like that would have been insane if he actually followed through.
No, I agree with you
I know
about that.
I'm not like
But the
I'm not
fact that
trying
that
to
was his intent in the first place
yeah like
makes that just as bad.
it's just like Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, I everything about that is gross. But like you get to the end of that and you're like, well, why did I have to feel gross for this plot? Like, why was
Yeah.
any of this fucking necessary?
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyway, um, Jed says, I just got bummed. I wanted her to like me, not the green me. Seth said, since when? Jed said, I'm sorry. Nothing turns me on more than a girl who's actually attracted to me. Seth said, wow, all that work, and you still blow it by having a soul. In the
So
counseling, oh, go ahead.
really? So he did so The reason he didn't want to sleep with her is because because he wanted her to be attracted to him, not Green Lantern. So why do this in the first place?
Yeah, everything about this just sucks. Plot's shitty, and so is Judd.
Jesus.
Okay. So the Guardians are watching this exchange on their monitors. They are obviously pleased.
What?
Seth said, I mean, you made a guy fall. Judd said, yeah, but it's not for nothing.
So the Guardians are basically like, this is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
He didn't
He did
like
actually sexually assault someone. Like,
so
good,
it's
what a good guy.
like what? Jesus Christ. Seth says as yeah, it is. It says, dude, now I have an in with the girl. Now I use that and I gets her to like the real me. Seth says, oh no. Judd as I know it sounds all herky jerky, but it's poetry up here. The Guardians are deflated.
Me
On the
too.
monitor, a green elf walks in with a slightly overcooked pizza. Judge continues, perfect, really. I love bubbles. Seth says, I don't believe it. This is really how you want to use your powers? Judge says, well, more like this. As he conjures up a glowing green Korean to start lap dance for him. Seth says, she's green, Judd. That does it for you? Judd says, you get used to it. Suddenly, to his horror, Judd just dematerializes. Judd continues, yeah, he's gone. And Seth is left with the green Korean. So, Seth says, Green Korean says, yeah. Suddenly, the green elf dives in and starts making out with the green Korean. Seth sighs.
I wonder
Okay.
why this movie didn't happen. Anyway, exterior planet Oa moments later. Judd finds himself beamed onto the strange planet of Oa, back in his Green Lantern uniform. He is surrounded by four Green Lanterns from alternate sectors of the universe. Judd says, how? What the? The orange-beaked Tomo Ray. This would have been the first live-action appearance of Tomo Ray. Holy shit. Um, the Guardians have summoned you. You are on the planet Oa. Judd pulls out his cell phone, panicked. Tomoray, your signal will not work here. Judd says, it's Verizon. They look at him
Hi.
blankly. I love the Verizon joke. Like every other joke, fuck this movie, but the Verizon thing is actually funny. Um, they
It's funny if it's honey if it's actually meant to be a joke and not meant to be product placement.
that's
If
fair,
they're
but
actually be like if they actually like put that in the script because Verizon paid them to be like this will work anywhere.
to your
It would be like
to your
I
point
think
earlier,
people audiences would be like, oh my god, that
to your
is
point
some very insane product placement.
to your point earlier though, this is the rough draft. This is way before any sponsorship is happening.
True.
So I do think it's just like a pure like
Mm-hmm.
joke. And
Yeah,
I
so
enjoy that. Um so they look at him blankly. Judd says, what are you dudes wearing? Tomore says, we are the Green Lanterns assigned to alternate versions of the sector. Alternate sectors of the universe. I'm Tomore of the planet Sudar. This is Judd looks up at Salak, a crabby Green Lantern with four arms and purple elongated football-shaped head. Tomore says, Salak, Green Lantern of Slikia in Sector 1418. Judd says, so I'm not the only Green Lantern. Salak says, don't you know anything? Sinestro, A refined humanoid Green Lantern with beet red root face, slick back hair, and pencil thin mustache chimes in. So that answers the Sinestro question.
Yeah. So we still don't know who actually is the villain they fought,
Right.
though it does seem like like Judd really is the real villain in this film.
No, that is fucking trash. Jesus. What
Like,
I think
oh,
that they just were like, how do we take Hal Jordan and make him worse? And
oh my
that's a
god.
pretty high bar, and they fucking passed it. Anyway, continue.
Sinestro says, of course not. His planet aspires ignorance. Tomori says, yes, there are thousands of Green Lanterns. This is Sinestro of Kuragar
That's the planet he's from. God damn it.
and Sector or 1417. And Sinestro says, the most orderly sector in the universe. Madfrill, a Green Lantern with a brown face, is one eye, and leaves for hair, says, Toma Ray, Madfell, Toma Ray says, is Madfowl, Green Lantern of J586. Judd, gesturing to his own head. You, have some leaves on your head right up there? Madfill, touches his head curiously. Ray says, Madfowl is a plant creature. Judd says, yeah, I know that was Salak barking loudly. Disrespectful. Tomaray says, this is Zax of Zaus. Zax is a tiny grasshopper like Green Lantern. Judd, containing himself, says, right, okay, no jokes. How are you? You're not funny at all. Tomaray says, you required training and orientation. We located you by tracing your ring's activity.
Judd says, oh, all of it? Which, to be fair, that is a pretty fair fucking question at this point, because what does he use this goddamn ring for? Anyway,
Mhm.
so flashback to exterior movie theater. Judd is in the back of a long ticket buyer's line for a Chronicles of Narnia type movie. He quietly uses the ring to rotate everything on the street, but the line itself. Now in front, he turns around, steps to the box office as the others in line, mostly children, are distraught and confused. Flashback, exterior field day. Judd has conjured the uh, green original Beatles with his ring. They perform and sing Please Please Me on the green stage. Judd jumps on the stage and grabs John's microphone, taking over the lead vocals. Conjured green girls in the audience scream for Judd as the Beatles continue confused. Judd gratuitously smashes his guitar. Exterior planet Oa. Tomare embarrassed for Judd. Yes, all. Salak, disgusted. Pistachio nuts. Tomare, flying. Let us move forward. To the book. The others follow him, flying into a high-tech domed yellow building. Interior Oa building. They take a moving sidewalk to another high-tech domed area. Judd notices green lanterns everywhere. Judd says, I'm loving this place. So futury.
Sinestro says, quiet. No one speaks here but the book. Order will not be compromised. Judd says, but what's the but? Oh, mama. Judd has arrived inside the dome. He and the others stand before an enormous green hardcover book. Homer Ray says, in these revered pages lies all the knowledge of the Guardians. Our rings will translate its text into words, you know. Watch. To words you know. Watch and learn. The book opens itself to the section highlighting the Legion's origin and the 1087th and achievement. Judd watches the pages and hears the voice of a guardian read the words on the page. The illustrations also tell the story of Techie. Guardian in voiceover in Sector 407 at the parting of the Great or Magellanic cloud.
Magellanic, yeah.
A small planet Tech orbits a smaller dwarf or star, the Techie, were a sentient and highly technical species, like most hive societies. Toma Ray listens attentively. Judd strains to follow. Guardian Iron voiceover continued. They were relentlessly expressionist, first conquering the planet, then blazing a trail of destruction and plunder across the galaxies. The Guardians knew appeasement was impossible, that strategic containment and would prove ephemeral,
Ephemeral.
and that at the dictates it's of order and justice is do not permit genocide. When the judge nodding off, the Guardian voiceover continues. Surviving techies were contained by the Green Lantern Corps. Or are you getting all this?
That's kind of I kind of feel like him reading this. Right. So Judd snaps to order. Judd says, "What? Yeah. They went to the Green Lantern Corps. Suddenly, the heads of 4 Guardians project above the book. Tomare, his intent is pure. Guardian number 2 says, yes, his desire is compromised by distinct functional deficiencies. Judd says, what? Guardian number 3 says, we made preparations for the circumstance. Observe. The book recedes and an enormous monitor shoots up in front of it. Muppet-like characters sing a bouncy tune. Muppet-like characters. On a planet far, round a small brown star, lived a species called the Chiki. Judd says, hey, I was getting the book. Guardian number 1 says, just watch. Chiki Muppets act out the song as the other Muppets sing. There were like big ants, but they wore no pants. Oh, the species called the Chiki. Judd smiles. He's getting into it. But they weren't content to stay in their hives.
Creatures.
I don't think I'm high enough for this.
So they conquered the tech, losing lots of lives. So they took the crusade into overdrive. It was time to stop the techie. Judd thrilled. Then what? Toma Ray looks at Judd incredulously. The Muppet-like characters say, the Guardians wouldn't kill them because genocide is not allowed. So the Green Lantern Corps drove them back to Tech. I concealed it with an energy cloud. Now they can't escape from the closed terrain of the species called the Techie. Give praise to the Guardians audience for order maintained. Judd sings along with the species called the Techie. The screen disappears. Judd applauds. Judd says, "Woo!" to the others. That was really fun. The Guardian says, as commence his training at once. The Guardians disappear. Toma Ray, I assume you have questions. We will answer as we are able. Judd says, well, like I said, I loved it. Everyone looks at him blankly. Judd continues, loved it. The lyrics, the singing, great story, but what all of this have to do with me?
This is like Shakespeare, man. All right, so Sinestro, who's probably a hero in this universe, goes, "You are part of a greater continuum, spanning galaxies and millennia. You are merely one of thousands committed to defending the forces of justice and order." Judd says, "Oh." Tomore says, "You may inquire further." Judd says, "Well, okay, I have to ask," to Zax, indicating Medville. "Have you ever tried to eat his hair?"
Oh my god.
Select says, "Quiet, you must understand. Our rings see that Chiki on a rampage for power. They are seeking Green Lanterns to direct them to Oa." Judd says, "Wait, you mean those ants on TV? They don't look anything like the yellow Martian guy who shot at me." Sinestro says, "It was an alien, not a Martian." Tomare says, "His form may have been different, but the Guardians reveal only what we are meant to know." Judd, with a sense of mock wonder, says, "Ooh." Selak says, "Ah, our sectors in Oa could be under siege, and every Green Lantern must be prepared." Sinestro says, "Selak, his will is manifest. It is merely clouded by the culture of ignorance ran rampant on his planet."
Judd says, yeah, what he said. Tomare, I said, you will benefit from one of our most highly regarded instructors. Judd says, cool. Kilowog,
Yes.
8'3", a 600 pounds, all muscle, fanged and orange skull, bursts in and leans into Judd. I love Kilowog. Like,
Kilowog is
I'm
so
glad
fucking
that
fun.
I love that he's in this. Like he's one Green Lantern character who I think can work with this tone. I think he could be
Agreed.
fun.
Agreed.
Kilowog says, "Where is he? Up and at him, poser. I'm Kilowog, and you're my meat." Judd says, bring it on." Zach's odds excitedly. Montage, Kilowog and Judd touch Green Lantern and flying in space. Kilowog says, not too bad for a diaper case. Judd says, yeah, I can kick it if it need be. Kilowog suddenly takes off at lightning speed, a green streak. He disappears over the horizon and returns behind Judd, grabbing his shirt tightly with his fist. Kilowog says, that's one lap around the planet. I got on ya, poo butt. Don't let me orbit you again, or you're doing laps all day. Kilowog fires green knives at Judd, whose ring produces individual metal claws to catch them. Kilowog continues, no blanket shielding. Grab each one of them, girly. Judd concentrating. Ring, 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 ring.
You know, I think I'm a little disappointed at Kilowog so far. He, because the best part about him, he has this like he has the edge and like the like calling people poozers and all that stuff is
Mm-hmm.
absolutely part of him. But he has this gentleness to him, like
Yeah,
yeah, and I feel like he's been reduced to a stereotype.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So,
Um,
well, we've read now about half the script, so we're gonna save the rest for us for another episode.
fuck yeah.
Even though this is not a good script,
This was fun.
I have enjoyed reading it with you. This has been a lot of fun reading.
Fuck yeah,
Like
dude.
it is like I love reading unhinged scripts.
Agreed.
Like what?
I said agreed.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like yeah. I probably wouldn't read a script on my podcast if it were signs very normal.
Oh,
because it's just
100%.
it's not interesting to read. It's not normal for normal when it's just a script. If you're if you don't get nearly any of the excitement that you get when from actually seeing it versus like reading sides unhinged, you can visualize all of the unhinged stuff,
Yeah.
and you can and it's so funny to fight. I'm like and like no, this would not have been a good film, but I absolutely would have watched it just because to laugh at how unhinged it is, as if this movie were made.
Fair. And I guess there is definitely room for that, especially with superhero media. I mean, have you seen
Mhm.
Steel?
Yeah, I've seen Steel. It's been a long time, so I don't really remember it. I watched it as a kid, but but yeah, I've seen Steel.
It's fucking terrible. It's funny, but it's terrible.
Like, hey, we already talked about this, but like, the offensive jokes in this is those are awful, awful. I actually like how sexual it is, but I want the sexual stuff to feel more consensual and not predatory.
I guess.
If it had sexual jokes, and stuff, but it didn't feel like feel like this guy's about to go sexually assault someone, or these cops are going to do some awful shit to children, and it's children, and we're not acting as if that's a bad thing in the script. Like the things like that, and then the racial jokes and the fat phobic jokes. Those are where I'm like really like that. I hate the rest of the jokes. I'm like I they're very weird, but I still think I would laugh at them because of how unhinged they are. I would laugh at Green Lantern summoning a giant condom. Like that's
Fair.
just kind of the person I am. I love unhinged stuff.
I enjoy Unhinged if it's also slightly clever.
Yeah, like a
And
lot of this was not super
yeah,
clever.
yeah.
Yeah, one thing that is absolutely crazy, in like even the early 2000s, and this would be people would be like damn, this is harsh. It's like the way his family talks to him, and like yes, there's usually in a lot of early 2000 comedies some family members who are harsh, but there's usually at least some people there who are like I no calm down, we're not you don't need to be acting like that at usually like one of usually the parents are like I don't you don't need to saying those things to your brother and then this we have the dad is like, so you're gonna be eliminated soon yet? I'm like,
So
Jesus, Jesus, like that's a mean thing for the father to say.
it is mean, but counterpoint to that, because this is clearly influenced by Adult Swim type humor. In fact, they even referenced Robot Chicken at one point, which was
Mhm.
the vibe I got early on. Um, Look at how the Griffin family speaks to Meg in Family Guy. You know what I
True.
mean? Like, I think that is kind of a trope for the media. I didn't take umbrage with that because for the time
Like
period and the influence involved, it made
I'm not
sense.
mad at it. I'm just like, wow, that was they were harsh.
It
So
didn't even
like,
surprise me a little bit.
I was just, like I feel like most of the, like the early 2000s comedy movies that I watched, there was a bit more heart to them. And even with the R-rated ones,
Oh,
like
there's
you
no
watch
heart to this script.
like you
It is,
watch saying like the 40-year-old version urgent, like that's an R-rated comedy, but there's still heart to it.
yeah.
You watch say a even heck. like something like I is definitely not even family having any family a focus whatsoever, or side that you would expect it to need heart, or like Pineapple Express has more
Mhm.
heart than this.
Oh, yes.
Like you like a that's one thing where I'm like, I wish it did have a bit more heart, or at least a bit of heart, since it doesn't have heart in this. It's like because I like raunchy comedy, but I also like it to have some heart to it.
Well, and like whether it's hard or not, it's hard to look at the script and look at it. Think any story you're consuming, whether it's by book or movie or TV show, you have to think like, what is the purpose of the story? Why does this need to exist? And the answer to this one is it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like uh, like I think I will say though, I've noticed this when I've done other script readings in the past on the podcast. We may enjoy it more when we're doing it in the second half,
Fair.
just because we know what we're in for.
Yes. And
Versus
I have an open mind.
versus is a lot. I've noticed when a lot of times when I've done these in the past, as the first one on it, there's a lot more of this shock and like what the fuck did I just read? This is so insane. But like once we like know what we're in for, the or I tend to notice that me and my guests usually enjoy it more.
Yeah. No, and
So
that makes sense. I mean, when you have that lower barrier of expectations,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. That's really everything I have to say for this episode. Is there any final words you'd like to say before I end this off?
Um, yeah, Lanterns is a lot better of a show.
Yeah. Watch Lanterns like that
John, you should
a
watch Lanterns
lot.
with us in the Discord, by the way.
So okay, there is a problem with that. I have another show that also releases at 9 o'clock on my time on Sundays. So I can't join you guys when you guys are doing that.
Fair,
Yeah,
fair.
I the show and I also and like that show I watch with friends as
Oh,
well. So
good for you. Okay, fair
yeah,
enough.
so I'm like so sadly I can't at least
Can I ask
for a
what
little
show?
while. It's called it's have you ever heard of her of this was these were decently big in the 2000s and The Librarian. It's
Heard of
a
it, never
movie
watched
se-
it.
it was a movie series that came out in the early 2000s. There were TV movies, these venture movies, and since then, and there have been two TV shows that have come following it, and currently the one that's out now called the Librarians. The next chapter is currently airing its second season. Is in there, and me and some friends have been having a lot of fun watching that every week because it airs.
Hell yeah, dude. Like,
Yeah,
sounds like a good time. I was just curious what show.
yeah, understandable. All right. So thank you everyone for listening. If you like this game analysis, please give a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or 5-star rating. I'd love your thoughts on this batshit insane script. So please let me know. If you'd like to listen more from me, please subscribe. Many more game analysis is coming, so keep on the lookout. This again is your host, Master John, signing off.